The Rubies Deluxe Chewbacca costume. Is it worth the money? Alright, let's take a look at this thing. The first thing I want to talk about is the mask, or the helmet, really. This thing is massive. I think I could probably put 2 of my heads in this thing. I've read a lot of reviews that said that people would wear a hard hat underneath. You can see how big, I mean, this thing is huge. What I did to make it fit better is I actually put, I don't know if you can see it very well, what I put in there is another mask, another Chewbacca mask actually, that makes noises, that has the head strap, so it keeps my head to the front. It's big. It's really not the best quality. It comes in a bag, so when you open it, it's kind of deformed. I actually had to set this in a mannequin head for about a week, and I put a little heat to it to try to get it to look more like a head. And this is, I think this is about as good as it gets right here. The fur around the face, you can see it's just glued down in places, and it does come up just like it's coming up right here. I mean, I did the best I could. You can see there's a little brown on here. What I did is I put some brown wax, and I tried to get it down, because what it does is it comes up and it flies in and it goes in the eye holes and makes it so you have hair in your eye. It is hard to see. It's hard to breathe. It's not a very good design for the mask. Alright, so the actual suit itself is made with a pretty thin material. I don't know exactly what it is. It kind of feels like sheets. And you can see it's layered. So about every 2.5 to 3 inches, they sewed a layer of hair on, which when you're wearing it, it separates a little bit, which can make it, well, you don't know it, but pretty soon you're walking around and you have a giant exposed piece of the underneath fabric. The back of it is just done with buttons. Let's see if I can get a better view of these. So it is these cheap buttons with this little elastic fabric, and you can see that I've already busted one off. You can't have a zipper, obviously, because it's all hair, but I don't know if the buttons are the best way to go. I actually use clips and clip them, especially when I get to the top. It does shed a lot, so you'll find these little hairs everywhere. It is not nearly as warm as the Darth Vader suit, because it does breathe a little bit, where the Vader suit does not. Alright, so let's look at the rest of it. Okay, so the 2 other things that come with it, you have the bandolier strap. It comes with a little pouch. The pouch does open, but it's this weird rubber fabric. Even the bandolier strap, it's made of this, I don't know, rubber. It's not made of much. It doesn't feel like much. I have had this costume on several times, and the rubber has not broke anywhere. I figured that it would break right here, but it has not. Okay. And the gloves. So these are rubber gloves, almost like I don't know, the gloves you would degrease something with, or I don't even know how to put it. And they just have the fur glued on or stitched on randomly on top. So once again, you can see the stitching sometimes when you're moving around. What I like to do with these, because they're just rubber gloves, is I bought these cheap little brown gloves, and I put these on and then put the gloves on top of them. If you don't, what happens is your sweat just rolls down and just beads up inside the gloves, like inside, and it's pretty gross. So that's one tip I would give to anybody who is getting these. Alright, so I'm about 6'1", and Peter Mayhew, who was the original actor who played Chewbacca in the original trilogy, was 7'2". So we can figure Chewbacca in the movies was probably, I don't know, 7'3", 7'4", after you added, you know, feet, the foot and the headpiece. So I knew that I had to do something. So this was my answer. These are drywall stilts. So I put the drywall stilts, and I bought some fabric, and I put the fabric around the drywall stilts, the bottom part of it. And there's actually, the costume itself comes with the foot part, and it's shaped pretty good. So what I did is I took the bottom and I filled it with foam, and then I actually have pretty good traction with the stilts. And I got the biggest suit I possibly could because I knew I was going to do this. And the bottom of the suit actually comes to about here, the actual fabric part, and then the fur actually goes down here. So the top half of this you don't see because it is not a perfect match, not even close. But if you do look at, especially any of the new Chewbaccas, the bottom, their feet are a little bit lighter, so I kind of went with that. I think I paid about $130 for the stilts, and they are, I think they're 12 or 13 inch stilts. So it puts me right at about 7'1", 7'2" when I put them on, and it's a great effect. It really is. I would suggest doing something like this. I've seen some other people who build just massive platform shoes, basically. This works out pretty good because they're light. These are meant to be light. They're meant to be worked with, and I can walk around in these for, I mean, I've walked around in them for an hour at a time. So this has actually worked out pretty good. Okay, so let's talk about the bad parts first. This mask is horrible. It really is. The face is horrible. The expression on his face, the eye holes are horrible. The way that the hair is glued on here is horrible. But I've looked, and it is extremely hard to find a good Chewbacca mask. So that's why I've done the best I could with this one to try to make it work. The buttons on the actual suit, they're gonna break. So if you plan on using this more than once or twice, I would upgrade them, go to better buttons, maybe a little bit better, some clips like I use, that works pretty good. The gloves, they're just rubber gloves. So, I don't know. These aren't very good either. The feet were just shoe covers to go over it. Overall, this is not a very good costume at all. But with a little help, with a little fixing, with a little shaping of the mask, with a little fixing of the suit, with the upgrade of the stilts, and I'm sure that I could find something a little bit better to do with the gloves, it's not bad. Now, this thing, I think when I bought it was about $350 for the whole thing without the stilts, and I paid another $100, $150 for the stilts. So, $500 for the whole set. Is it worth it? You know what? I get a lot of great reactions from kids, and whenever I put this on and walk around the mall here, I get everybody wants their picture taken. Everybody wants to come up and give Chewbacca a hug. So it's obviously not horrible to look at. As far as function goes, it's not very good. It's not very good at all. There is some other costumes out there that have the maybe a little bit better Chewbacca suit. I'll have to maybe order one of those and check one of those out. But until then, I think I'm going to try the statue prank this weekend with Chewie and see how that works. So look out for that. With Retro Reboot, I'm Dan. See ya.
Let go of everything.